Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the neighborhood. Mrs. Clinton's got her yard sale going today. The dog down the street is barking its head off, so everything is as usual here. Well, as you can tell, it's getting warm, so it's that time of year, and that time of year is time to bring home another vintage Mopar. So you saw the teaser video of this, where we went and picked up this Plymouth. So now we're going to do a good examination of this and see what it is, and so I'm going to take you along for the ride on that, so to speak. So this is a 1968 Plymouth Valiant 100. If you look on the front fender, it's just your basic four-door Plymouth Valiant sedan. This is the second model year of this style. The style of the Valiant and the Dart both changed in 1967 for the model year 1967. So this looks a lot like the later cars because it is a lot like the later cars. This is an early version, and so I never had one of these this old. The oldest Valiant I've ever had, the oldest anybody I've ever had, is a 70. So this popped up on Craigslist recently, and I wasn't looking for another Valiant, wasn't looking for a four-door, but I thought, you know, I like the way it looks, so why not? It's hard to resist. So anyway, this is just a, as I said, a 100, and it has what's called a Valiant 200 decor package, and you'll have to pardon me a second. So we got a Valiant 200 decor package, and what a Valiant 200 decor package got you was just basically an option package. It came with that trim spear down the side of it on each side with a red inset, which it has. It also got you dual horns, which it has. We'll see that in a minute. Got you a cigarette lighter, which it has. It got a half horn ring, which it has. So it has a whole package. And so it's a pretty straight car. That's what attracted me to it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty straight. It's never been wrecked that I can tell. It's got a few rust issues, which are common to these. Got some on the bottom down here at the bottom of the front fender. And it's got some back here at the back behind the rear wheel. It's got a little bit of Bondo in there. It's got a little bit of rust issues around the rear window. Starting up pretty good. There's probably more in there than you can see. There always is. And it's got a little bit around the windshield up here too. So it's been sitting out a lot, and so it's just, you know, it's probably been repainted once, but it's just weathered and needs a little attention. Floorboards are decent. They're not perfect. I've got some rust holes up under the pedals on the left side, and I don't know about the right side. I haven't looked that close to it yet. It's got the neat, you'll notice that these are the 1 year only round marker lights for the sides here. They're called marker lights on these. They're not parking lights. The 1 year only. My other car, that's also a 68 convertible in there, Fury convertible, and it's got those too, because 68 was the first year they mandated those lights like that. And we got nice chrome tail lights. This is, you notice there's things on these that are similar to the later cars, but they're a lot more fancy, like those chrome lights. Now they were more or less like one piece, one lens for 67, and they changed for 68, and then they went back to this other style with a one lens for 69. It's got its original 13-inch wheels with its original hubcaps on it. It's kind of surprising that those were 13s and not 14s, but the Fury in there, it's a big convertible, and it's only got 14s on it. It's got a little bit more stuff coming through the quarter right there, and a little bit under the fender, same place up here. It's probably got where it's had leaf debris sit in there, but overall it's not terrible at all. So it's dirty. It's been sitting out, and I'll tell you the story on it here in just a second as soon as we get done with our exterior walk around. This has got a passenger side mirror here, which I suspect is not original. It could be, but that doesn't look like a Plymouth mirror to me. The Mopar mirror, I have to look into that. But anyway, it's not bad though. Well, my neighbor's car's still running, but I don't know how long. Anyway, the story on this old car goes, talked to the guys, real nice guy that sold it to me. Just way out in the boonies. But he had bought it from so-and-so back at some point years ago and gave it to his father-in-law. His father-in-law drove it more or less every day and then got sick and couldn't drive anymore. And that was about 3 years ago, so they just parked it 3 years ago and never drove it again, so it's evidently set since. So it does run, does drive. It doesn't do either of those extremely well. It's a little bit out of tune, but it's not missing, it's not smoking, it's not knocking. So let's take a look under the hood here, since we're up this way. So it's just another basic leaning tower of power. It's like any other one you've ever seen. This one's red because they were painted red up through 1969, but it's by the same basic engine. This one's a 225. This car's VIN says it's supposed to have a 170 in it, but this is definitely a 225. You can tell by the casting numbers and how long that hose is down there between the water pump and the cylinder head. So I don't know what's up with that. It doesn't. This engine doesn't look like it's been changed anytime recently. It's not got blue paint under it, so I don't know. You know, Chrysler's been known to do that. They've been known to put the wrong engine in at the factory, but we don't know. Yeah, it's got a, you can get the serial number off the side. There's a pad under the cylinder head flange under there, so you can, at some point I'll get into that and we'll see exactly what it is, if it's the original engine. There should be a date stamped on this block also, so we'll find out. This car was built in November of 1967, so it's got the original style radiator still in it. I mean, under the hood is just original. The only thing I see that's kind of strange is it's got these two holes that have been sawed into the thing there, and I don't know why that is, if it wasn't just to maybe help them clean out the cowl panel. It's a 2-speed wiper motor. It's got, of course, this is light enough that it has a federally mandated dual circuit master cylinder. This one has a, I was lucky enough on this. This one has a Carter BBS 1-barrel carburetor. They used this one and a Holley 1920 interchangeably, and I despise that Holley 1920. I've already said that, but I hate those things. They suck. They're terrible carburetors, so this is a better carb. So I'm glad of that. Still got the sticker on it. Still got the fender tag. This has got point style ignition. It's too early to have. It's too early to have electronic ignition on it. Good Lord. Man, I said this car was original. Look at that. Well, I say that might be original clamps on the fuel pump on that line. Look at that line right there. I don't know for sure on that though. It's not as greasy and oily as you would think it would be, but it just, I mean, the engine could have been changed in it, but it sure does look original to me. Somebody's put a water shut off right here in this heater hose because, yeah, I bet, look at this. This is supposed to have a clamp under it. That's original. That's for the heater hose. Yeah, I'm looking at something else here too. Look, this one heater hose has got the original, that's the original Chrysler style spring clamp on it, and the other end has the same one on it. So I don't know, we're going to look into this. Like I said, it's supposed to have a 170, and I would have expected it to have a 170 slant 6 in it, but it does not. But anyway, somebody's put that shut off in there evidently because probably the heater core is leaking. Because, excuse me, getting all emotional about that heater core. Now heating system on these cars that does not have air conditioning is constant circulation. Means there's always hot coolant flowing through the heater core, and the way they shut it off, there's a door in there. When you slide the control back over to cool, it shuts the door down and that blocks off the hot air. Otherwise you get it all the time and you get water flow. So if a heater core busts, it keeps on leaking. So your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to say that if I open that up, we're going to get water into the floor in there. But otherwise, it's just a super straight old car, and that's what I love. You know, the amount of money I have to spend on old cars, I'm a bottom feeder, so I have to take pretty much what nobody else will take. So, you know, they made these in 2-doors, but I wouldn't have gotten a 2-door for this price. So I figure put a little love into this and get it up to snuff, and you know, I may like it enough to keep it, or I may decide that I want to just go ahead and pass it to a new owner and work my way up the food chain. So let's look at the interior. Thought that was rust, but that's not. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this thing smells like hardcore 1960s in here. That floor pad is no good. The interior is about what you would expect. Oh, it's hot in here. It's just really aged badly. The headliner is just about out of it. It's the fact it's down on my head, so somebody's done something weird with the roof right there, put some sound absorbent, but it's got some nice stuff on it. I'll show you in a second. But the instrument panel on these is pretty close to the newer ones as far as the way it's laid out. But it's you can tell your things are more squared off. It's a little bit different design, but it's still got brakes and oil over here, and it's got your gauges for the ammeter and the temperature and the fuel there. It's got a flasher control right there. You know, the steering column was different on these old ones. They didn't have the keys in the dash, as you can see, so none of that was up here. Headlights over here. This is actually a padded dash, and what's going on with this is it may have all been for 1968 model year, but there were several things that were, to my knowledge, were enacted about 1968 or so, and one of them was the marker lights for the side marker lights, and one of them was 4-way flashers, one of them was a dual circuit master cylinder, and one of them was a padded dash. So this car has a very, very, very nice lower padded dash on there. See, that's they got away from that later. I guess they got I don't know if they got the regulation changed on it or what, but the upper dash is it's about what you'd expect. The windshield's fogged pretty bad around the corners, so it's going to need to be pulled out and replaced. Alabama wouldn't care about that, but if this was an inspection state, you wouldn't be able to get away with that. So it's got the aforementioned cigarette lighter there. It's got this very nice AM thumb wheel style radio. It's got another radio, a Ford radio down here for some reason. It's got I don't even know what's going on with that there. That's the hoses for the defrost. I don't know why they're so long and coming down out here, but see, that is the remains of the driver's side door panel, and I'm going to try to save that. I don't know if I can. It looks pretty rough, but the backing's gone off of it. They had the windows fell down, so I guess they had to get that off. But they've I see back here in the back, they've been taping these door panels up, so it's going to need some love on the inside for sure. But if I was just ripped back there, I'm hoping I dig that back seat out that I can find the build sheet for it, broadcast sheet. This was in the glove box. This was the glove box. That's got the cardboard style glove box in it. somebody's nice duct tape handle there, but there's no glove box left in it. So, God, it's hot in here. Wow. I bet the keys got to be in for that horn to work. No, I got the battery unhooked, that's right. He's got a sticker there. Overall, though, it's a lot more solid than that green one that Oakfield drives, unfortunately. But let me pause you real quick. I'm going to go get the key and we'll look in the trunk, too. Almost looks like a nest, doesn't it? Somebody's... Well, that's not as bad as I thought it would be. Pull that out, probably. That's part of getting an old car like this. You have to undo stuff that the previous owners have done. That's leaking through right there. That seal's in bad shape. Probably gonna put new rubbers on it. But anyway, the trunk's not bad. Somebody's done the worst thing you can possibly do, which is put carpet in one of these. Because if it leaks any water, which this one has been, which they all do, it pools up in here. It's got crusty up here pretty bad. But only place that I saw that it had come through, see right here, this stuff starts peeling up because there's a little bit of rust under it. It's got to be all got out. But the water lands up here. What the hell is that? It's like part of a armrest. I'll get this carpet out and be able to examine it further, but it's got one little spot right here that's going through. It's going to have to be fixed, just like Phil's car is, but not the same reason, just from water. But this car evidently has a trunk light in it. Yes, it does. See it right there. There's the switch for it. That's interesting. That might have been part of the core package. Looks like we got a belt. It's not a new belt. Unfortunately, that'll go in the garbage. And looks like some shocks in here. If they fit this car, it looks like the ones that go on it, though. Yeah, it's okay to me. So I'm gonna move my bird bath and my water hose over a little bit, guys. And I'm gonna bring this thing over into the cleanup bay right here, and so we'll clean this thing up and work on it and see where we get. I'm gonna throw you a little bone here real quick so you know what I've been up to, and you know I hadn't been slacking. Just a little bone. Go. Thanks for watching. More to come. See ya.